What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp. Today we're going to be going over a recap of the Razer booth, showing some of their new products and newer additions to the cool CHROMA ecosystem that you guys are probably going to like. More after this. My coverage of CES 2018 is brought to you by Corsair in collaboration with HardwareCanucks. Check the links in the description down below to learn more. So today at Razer, we saw some pretty cool things that I know you guys are going to be all about because RGB for days, I feel you on that. But first off, they showed us something called Project Linda, which really sparked my interest. So Project Linda is pretty much like a laptop smartphone hybrid, which lets you dock your Razer phone into the laptop, making it like a touchpad. But using their Android interface, the phone is then going to act like an extra screen. It's pretty interesting. They always show off cool projects like this. I don't know right now when it's going to come to market or if it's going to come to market, but the integration that it showed I think is really interesting. So think of this as like using a Razer Blade, but instead of having their own dedicated touchpad, you can just put the phone in now and it'll interact with everything really nicely. It does have a full-size built-in keyboard, which does, take advantage, obviously, of the Razer CHROMA backlighting. Really cool stuff that you can change up. You're very familiar with this. And I was really surprised just how thin and light Razer Project Linda was. It was just 15 millimeters thin and it weighed under 3 pounds. I believe it was like 1.25 kilograms. And that was including the phone already. The screen had a 13.3-inch Quad HD display that was also touchscreen. So I love what I saw. I hope we get more information on it, and I hope this does actually, come to fruition in the future. The next up is the newer collaboration with Razer and Philips. They're bringing the Philips Hue ecosystem with Razer CHROMA. So pretty much you can use Synapse to link to the bulbs and create this really awesome RGB CHROMA gaming room, if you will, that interacts with you and your games. And this is all available starting today because Philips and Synapse both have updates to allow these things to be enabled. You can really see how this could be useful if you have a few of the Philips Hue bulbs around or those bloom bulbs. Creating this really cool CHROMA effect with Razer now is going to make your room glow and pop even more. But I'm really impressed because they have it all mapped out where the effects will go in order from where your lights are across your peripherals, and it will all sync up. This is all possible because in the Synapse software now you can really map out where everything is. And this is from each individual bulb in your room. You just put it in relation to where it is in your room, to where your gaming setup is, and now all your effects are going to be mapped out. They're going to go and flow in unison. And that's going to be the same for all your effects, whether it's the CHROMA effect, or if you're doing ripple or reactive. Everything will go together, and when you're playing music and you have it syncing to the EQ, you can imagine how that's going to be really cool. And even something like their fire effect, you can now have the whole fire effect going throughout your room. And a lot of games take advantage of the Synapse software where you could sync it to them. They have their own presets. So say you're playing Overwatch and you get your alt. Now, instead of just your keyboard or your peripherals lighting up, your entire room is going to flash to let you know that your alt is ready, which is going to really get you even more engaged into your game. So the more games that do allow this, the more your room is just going to be off the charts. Next up, we have the Razer Mamba Hyperflux. This is going to be using their new Hyperflux wireless technology. So the mouse itself, the Mamba Hyperflux, it has the Razer 5G optical sensor with that 16,000 DPI. You have 9 independently programmable buttons, and you still have that familiar and ergonomic Razer Mamba design to it. But pretty much the newer changes here is the fact that it can be used with the Razer Firefly Hyperflux. So this is like the Firefly mousepad. You've seen it in the past. It has the CHROMA lighting and stuff, but now it has conductive charging. So while you're using this, it'll start to charge. But a great thing about this is it has the dual hard texture and the cloth matte surface as well. You could just flip and swap at your pleasure to give you whatever kind of texture you like the best while you're gaming. So you can think of all the great ways why this would be useful, because pretty much when you're using a wireless mouse, you don't have to worry about it dying now mid-match or anything like that. While you have it on this surface, it will be charging for you. Then we'll wrap up with their new Nommo speaker line. So the Nommo Pro is their approach now at bringing really high quality premium speakers to your desktop. And they're not just gaming speakers. That's not what they're targeting this as. These are desktop speakers that you could use for watching movies, playing games, listening to music, anything. It's also THX certified, which they were telling me was a pretty big deal. So I, for one, really like the kind of aggressive and non-traditional look to this. You've seen, desktop speakers in the past. These definitely kind of branch away from that, and the drivers and the tweeters are its own separate part of the construction of this. And of course, you've got an RGB light strip underneath for like some cool underglow in your speaker. The Nommo Pro also comes with a cylindrical subwoofer, and I could tell you from experience when I was there testing this thing out, it gets really, really loud, and you have that simulated 5.1 surround sound built in. It made for a really cool experience when I was there at the booth gaming and stuff. They even had a little part of the demo where you were watching Stranger Things, and right as Will goes into the upside down and everything just starts getting weird, the surround sound on this was bizarre. And to control everything, they have this little control pod, which is going to let you change up the volume and some of the source controls and stuff like that. And there's also a headphone jack right there for you. The Razer Nommo, though, is a downscaled version. You don't have the subwoofer. It's a stereo 2.0 speaker system, but it does still have the CHROMA integration along with the built-in DAC on one of the speaker bases as well. So now for pricing, the regular Nommo itself is $99.99. The Nommo CHROMA, which is the regular Nommo but with the CHROMA lighting, is $149.99. And the Nommo Pro, the high-end version, subwoofer, all that great stuff, $500. A bit pricey, but I'm telling you guys, it sounds phenomenal. And then before, the Mamba Hyperflux and the Razer Hyperflux Firefly mousepad is going to be a bundle. You can pick it up for $250. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for my coverage of Razer at CES 2018, going over their booth and stuff like that. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter to keep up to date. I'll be like kind of live tweeting things as I go on at CES. And make sure you check out some other content. We got a lot of stuff dropping this week. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.